Back to the Q&A. Today we're joined with Mod Matt K.
Hello.
Mod Ronan.
Hello.
Mod Ash.
Hello.
Mod John C.
Hey.
Mod Reach.
Yep.
And myself, Mod Archie. Before we get any further with these questions, I haven't even started yet. Mod Ronan, do you want to take us through what you're going to be doing today in the stream?
Right, so about halfway through the stream, I'm going to be hopping onto the computer over there and going in-game to show off the Clan Wars game modes that we added with today's update, which is going to be Team Old School and Time Deathmatch. I'll probably just show off Team Old School, but I'll explain what Time Deathmatch is at the same time. So if you guys want to join me, I'll be saying what the world is when I get on the computer so it doesn't fill up beforehand. But be ready to fight in a clan war if you want to have some fun.
Cool.
What's happened with your bowl cut? Are you growing it back?
No, gonna hack it tomorrow.
Really?
Just answering the chat.
How many retweets were needed for that?
I'll just go 1,000, why not?
Can we get a tweet out? 1,000 retweets.
Right, 1,000 retweets
I'm
and Ronan keeps the hair.
Keeps the hair. I'm not going to keep it.
Where's my phone?
Let's get into the questions then. I'm sure that will be a tweet. Okay. Before we actually get into these, let's address Chrome dropping Java, because that's now a thing. In case you didn't know, who'd be best to take us through?
Ian, but he's not here.
Yeah.
All right, Chrome 42, I think, no longer supports Java. So if you play Old School in Chrome, you no longer can, but you will be prompted with a link to download the client, which is a simple download and install. It's like 5 clicks, and then you can launch it directly from your desktop. It's as simple as that. If you have any account issues, you can now recover your account directly from the login screen as well from within the client. It'll open up the correct page because that uses Java as well.
Okay, uses that.
Important to note that Firefox and other clients will soon be dropping Java as well, so definitely download the client.
Yeah, you don't have to be on Chrome to download it either. You can just go ahead to the oldschool.runescape.com and it would be a link on the left.
Yeah.
Cool. There's that. All right. First question. This one's from Kristen. And she says, since Chrome is dropping Java, can we get the option to switch to World 386, aka the bot world?
Can you not do that anyway?
No, they don't appear on the world lists.
It's actually a bit harder when you're using the client.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, it's not possible. It's not on the world
bar,
list.
do you?
It is possible. You can just modify the link that loads from within the script, but it's a bit of a pain.
We could make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see there's no reason why
Those
not.
worlds are intentionally hidden. We can just unhide them if we need.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why not to.
Dan's overcoming a cold.
Yeah.
It sounds weird.
I lost my voice, so this is all I've got back.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been a very quiet week.
Next question. This one's from RC is Noob, and he asks, can we have the ability to show off our total level instead of our combat levels? This is from a skiller's perspective, saying, I want to show off that I'm a good skiller.
Do you think it might be advantageous if you're running around the wilderness and people can't see what your combat level is?
I think we could force combat level in the wilderness.
This was obviously a change that came later in the game. Is it something that we see particularly happening in Old School, though, as we lean to the chat?
I think there is a definite desire for people to show off that they've got lots of skills that are very high. I think that's a good thing. I don't think necessarily having your name and then numbers next to a bracket is the right way of displaying that, but I think people should be able to say out loud what their total level is.
Like the quick chat thing.
Like the quick chat thing, yeah. Have it that way, but I mean, I don't know, examine info probably isn't going to work, because I think there's issues with that, isn't there?
The chat seems
It
to be
took
very
RS3 quite a while to manage that one.
So, but I think there's a better way of doing it.
I think the chat just made up our mind for us.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I do think there is. I think it's a good thing if people can show off their total level.
Yeah.
I agree with the combat level with it maybe isn't the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the quick chat. Obviously, the total level was not going to go down well. But quick chat would be a fair alternative, or just wearing a 99 cape if you have that. But if you don't, fair enough.
So here's the question, whether we want to have Ian spend all the time required to building the engine features for quick chat, just so they can say their total level. Of course, we can cut some other way of broadcasting it so that they know it can't be faked.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's that.
Any quick chat.
All right, next question. Again from RC is Noob asking, will we ever see the enchanted watering can?
I would like to write that. I'd like it to be a reward from something pretty decent though.
I'm sure we can find somewhere for it.
Yes, we've been using achievement diaries a bit lately for that kind of thing, although possibly something new you have to do to help the fairies or the farmers or something might be the way.
Yeah.
Okay, see what the chat thinks of that, actually. Couple yeses, few yeses. All right.
Well, there can't be that many people who feel that they really, really like filling their watering cans and this is part of the game that they would miss.
True,
It's very true.
I respect if people do and we would poll it.
there will still be a dedicated amount of people that will vote no to that.
Yeah.
Well, there's
That's what we've
8%
learned.
of people said they didn't want resizable mode or thereabouts.
There were 7% of people who said they didn't want Christmas.
All right, next question. Can you add pickaxes to the smithing table? One of those things you really don't think of, but they actually aren't on the smithing table.
It could be done, but like the watering can, it'd be nice if it was a reward from something rather than just thrown in.
It used to be a reward from something. It was a Perils of Ice Mountain quest, which we don't have and would not be able to recreate without recreating a whole lot of graphics that we don't really want to do. So we can bring it into something else if there's much use for it. I didn't think there was that much use for it, to be honest.
I imagine it being a bit of a quality of life update for Iron Man.
It probably gave the Runite miners, the Runite smiths, a bit more to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know many people ever want an adamant one.
Okay.
They want a mod ash pet as well.
Yeah.
Do you want a mod ash pet?
Not personally.
Okay, I'll
Let's
set
get
that
one of those mirrors that makes you look smaller or something.
We pulled it a couple weeks back and it got like 87%.
Wow.
So,
We've still got the mod ash emote to plug in as well.
Yeah, Gareth did make that.
Yes.
okay, next question. This one's from Nazim, and he asks, could y'all talk about adding a bank to Apatol? Maybe it could be accessed by players who've only completed Monkey Madness to obviously avoid cheating in the quest. Similar to the bank on Lunar Island, so you might need the monkey speak gambler or something like that to talk to the banker. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to make it a lot easier to bank your mahogany antique, I guess.
Not to put it in the city.
It's just one of those things again. I don't see any major sort of drawbacks from it, or
Well,
any sort of.
I would
too
have
balanced
it.
issues
I'd have it
maybe.
require the RFD King Awurgigi part because that's what unlocks the teleport to Apatol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any balancing issues apart from that.
Okay.
All right, cool. Good question.
Y'all. Like that.
I like to ask them exactly how they're typed. Next question. This one's from Captain Ali, and he asks, will Old School ever get its own forums apart from the RuneScape 3 forums?
Well, it could do. I mean, we've got a team that could do it. I think they're better spent doing other stuff rather than making Old School forums. The forums aren't the busiest in the world. In fact, we have more people, significantly more people talking on Reddit than we do on the forums. Can do, again, it's just a case that I could think of better things. If we had some time from the web team, I could think of much better things to do with their time than new forums.
It can be useful that when RS3 gets a forum update, we get a forum update. And if we had a separate system altogether, we might not.
Yeah, I mean, the only change I can see really that would happen is we'd have the same forums and they'd effectively be exactly the same, but they would just be on a different page, so it looks like they're separate. So that would be the only difference I could see would really happen.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if we had web systems time to do stuff, I could think of 101 more interesting things, making the web page much better. Is the first thing I'd ask them to do, and then start working on the Grand Exchange pages as well. So there's an awful lot more important things than new forums. What do you think, Ryan?
I think there's if it's going to hold back stuff like the Grand Exchange web pages, then it's probably not worth it. And like you say, not an overwhelming number of people use the forums, especially compared to places like Twitter and Reddit. So probably not top of the priorities.
Okay. Another one for Ronan, actually, maybe. This one's from Landonian, and he asks, so Old School's, actually, we're going to go to the previous one, from Twitchland. And he asks, is the 30-minute death timer here to stay now, or will we ever consider removing it?
We're still considering it to be temporary. It hasn't been polled. If we were going to keep it, it would definitely have to be polled. However, I'm not sure where we stand on getting rid of that.
The question is when it's safe to do so. Because at the moment, if we were to take the timer out, there's nothing to say that it couldn't just go straight back to the situation we had a few months ago. The sysadmins are still working on rearranging the servers and changing the network architecture to try and make everything a bit more resilient. I think while they're still working on that is not the time for us to take away the longer timer.
It'd be interesting to actually get a straw poll, see if you guys would like it kept permanently, actually. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think.
Did get a few requests to ask to remove it, but for every request there's probably a dozen people saying keep it, so I would be very surprised to see this not pass.
Has been in for a very long time now, so people are quite accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. While we wait for that, let's go back to this one. Like I said, from Landonian, who asks, so Old School's been out for 2 years now. We've seen many awesome updates, yet not a single quest. What gives?
Well, we do occasionally run these priority polls where we ask, how do you strongly feel about this kind of content, that kind of content? Quests just doesn't seem to be the thing that people most want to spend our time on. If we're going to do a quest, it's going to take a while, because quests do. Even the little Easter event was about 4 solid days of dev time for me, and that's a very small quest. So to do a big quest with all the graphics and code that would entail to do it properly, we could be working on that for many weeks. And we'd like to, but it would mean that we're not working on anything else for that many weeks. So we have to choose what will hopefully hit the box for most people, and the answer tends not to be quests.
Right.
Now, more quickly, we could dig out the Path of Gluffrey quest and the Land of the Goblins quest, I think it is. They're in the archive that were nearly finished being written in August 2007 when we were archived. So we could dig those out and reinstall them if people wanted. Again, it doesn't seem to be the thing that gets people's attention most. There's more support for a lot of other kinds of updates, so we're just doing that instead.
Well, we do now have Wild Gothic Sleeps as well.
We do have Wild Gothic Sleeps.
It's a slightly abridged version.
Kind of.
You've written a quest. Well done.
Alright, we have the results from asking if you'd like to keep the 30-minute death timer, and you would like to keep it by about 62%.
That's
Not as
really
much
close,
as I
though, isn't it?
expected.
Not as big a majority as I thought it would be.
Yep. Regardless, tough time thinking that would pass an actual poll. All right. Next question. This one's from Merchosaurus, and he asks, so with the Staff of the Dead auto-casting Zamy Flames, can the Aram staff have the ability to auto-cast Sarah Strike? I think he's asking for a repoll, because we've asked this before.
We did poll that. It came fairly close, I think, as well. It was low 70s.
At the time, did we have the Amulet of the Damned in the game?
No.
I think so.
Because when we put that in, the Aram staff suddenly got a whole lot of
trouble.
new abilities. I think it got Ancients.
Potentially.
That might make a difference to how people see the staff now compared to how they did at the time.
Do we have many more, Ronan, of the near-miss stuff that we could do? We did the last poll sort of couple of months ago, didn't we?
There's definitely more stuff that we could do. Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't do another one as long as people are happy with us doing it. And we could get a poll's worth, which I'm sure we could.
There was a lot of requests also asking in the next near-miss poll if we're doing another one for that tree. I forget what it was. That tree we were going to pull.
The Redwood?
Redwood tree, that's the one.
That was a new top tier tree, wasn't it?
Yeah. That
Could
and
throw
ash
stuff
tree,
like
of
that
course.
in there.
I think we should probably put a straw poll on for whether they would like an ash tree in game. If James is listening, he's got headphones on. He's got a thumb in the air.
Is there anything else ash related that could potentially be polled?
Yes.
Trays.
Jar of ash dropped by 30.
Oh dear.
While we wait for you guys to vote on that, let's go to the next question. This one's from Cameron, and he asks, will Zaya be quite condensed with content, or spread out and spacious?
Condensed, like the current map. The only reason, well, one of the good reasons we're doing Zaya is we don't want to condense the current map even more than it already currently is. So let's spread out onto a new area and put some content there. Obviously at the start it's going to be quite spacious, but we hope to condense it quite nicely and make sure there's no areas where you're roaming around seemingly doing nothing with very little purpose. So hopefully everything will be quite condensed and quite nice.
Awesome. Cool. All right, next question. This one's from Mocket, and he asks, will Resizable mode be accessible to free-to-play players?
Don't see why not. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So hopefully no one was actually worrying, saying, damn, I'm not going to be able to access that. Yeah.
I think it probably stems from when we first did HD, didn't we? Because that was only available to members. Is that right? That was a long time ago.
No, I don't think so.
There's something that happened around then,
That
didn't it?
would mean the free game was loading off a completely different engine, so I wouldn't have
So
thought
what was it we did? We did something like that for, didn't we?
We might actually have done it. We could have done.
I remember
We
something
might not
being
have done.
members only.
Is it full screen, maybe?
Yes.
Might have specifically been full
Resizable
screen.
and full screen, that was
But-
it, yeah.
Almost nobody
There we
used
go.
full screen mode.
Oh, that's
We have
interesting.
over 1,000 votes saying they'd like to see an ash tree in-game.
We did poll. I'm surprised I didn't pass the poll, actually, from the entire list we did when we did Artisan. I thought that would be the only thing that would pass, just because it was an ash tree, but...
I think in the context it may not have been so well received as it would as a standalone thing.
I think they might be picturing like a tall standing ash that you chop at.
As opposed to the real
Hopefully
tree.
you understand this is an actual tree.
with his arms
Yeah.
in the air.
Just stop chopping me!
Ooh, we're going to have to add update Shades of Mortarton to add the new kinds of logs.
Oh, yeah,
You
fine.
don't like Shades of Mortarton. Well, he likes the content, I'm
Who
sure.
does?
It's the testing of it that's a bit of a pain.
There's no one there.
He had to plug in the diary stuff for it.
Probably try and find something to do with that area because there is no one there, and there probably should be.
I think that one reward took us an entire day to get sorted.
Yeah, it did take a while.
Okay. Next
Even
question.
tying in the Amnesty of the Damned into the drop tables from the chests was quite a pain.
Moving on.
Sorry.
This one's from RSN Beds, and he asks, assuming resizable mode passes a poll, which it's currently sitting at 90 something.
It's 95, I think, last time.
95%.
Wow.
Just in case it somehow passes, I don't know how. Will you have a roughly estimated date, aside from just several months? Any idea?
It's tricky because we're not entirely sure. Hopefully beginning of summer, but yeah, hopefully, but we'll see.
Okay.
The trouble is, with a project like that, it's more prone than usual to having obscure things that we run into that take a lot longer to solve than we'd expected. With other projects we do, we normally know exactly what it is we're going to have to do for them, and we can time cost it reasonably well, like the Grand Exchange. But Resizable, there's a lot of stuff in there where we can't guess, and we're going to run into things as we go and try and have to find solutions to them, and it's a lot harder to guess what's going to happen.
Right. Well, if you didn't see it, Ian did tweet a bit of a teaser as to what it might look like.
Across 3 monitors.
That's about the most popular thing we've ever tweeted from any of us.
Yeah. So definitely check that out if you didn't get
His
a chance
Twitter is
to yet.
at jagex_Ian if you're looking for it.
Cool. All right, next question. This one's from Tim, and he asks, it's a pain to watch, it's a pain to know which tier of diary you've completed. Any chance we can have the ability to split them into easy, medium, hard, elite lists in the achievement tab?
Pass.
Organizing
Yes,
the
yes,
achievement
you can do
diaries
that.
tab. It is a possibility?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something the community is very insistent on?
I could see us spending better part of the day doing it, so we'd have to hope the community actually did want it if we were going to do a thing like that.
Right. Sounds similar to reorganizing the music tab. Spoke of that last week. Just organizing in general, I think people just have a bit of OCD. But moving on.
Seem to want it. There we go.
Well, it's a bit clearer and it doesn't do much harm because it only affects the one panel where you're looking anyway.
There's one no in there. That one guy. I wish we could just single him out.
I'm sure we can.
Next question. This one's from Boliol, and he asks, any thoughts on a new potential skill potentially coming with Zaya?
We did talk very briefly yesterday. I think we were talking about new skill, as we mentioned Zaya. What is it we could possibly offer alongside it? Because obviously a new skill is quite flashy. Obviously a new content in itself is quite flashy. Why not mix the two? There are no immediate plans to look at doing a new skill, especially alongside Zaya. That's going to be a standalone with extensions to the current skills. If we decide to offer a new skill, that would be completely separate from Zaya, with potentially content for that skill on Zaya, but you'd hear about that separately at a point we think it's necessary to do a new skill. It won't be anything Zaya related.
Right.
So you weren't tempted to say, take your idea for raid dungeons, turn it into a skill rather than say a minigame?
Rating skill.
Touche. Touche.
All right. Next question. This one's from Free Agent, and he asks, so how will Zaya's development impact the frequency/size of the regular game updates? He's saying, half of our dev team is now going to be working on Zaya.
I was looking at what we did last week. Last week? Yeah, last week I think it was. We went and planned summer, and that doesn't look any different to how I would have done, how it would have been. The words make sentence equals good. Yeah, no difference. Fine.
Trust him on this.
That was
Yeah, summer looks
quite
really
deliberate.
packed, and when summer starts rolling, you will not worry about anything. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. Again from Free Agent asking, so how will everything in Zaya be voted in? Will it be voted in every single piece of content individually, or will there be chunks of updates in each question?
So we obviously want to give you control over what's going on. That's what we do currently. At the same time, we also would like to provide you with new exciting content. But obviously, as we progress with the development and the design and the ideas of further content, we're looking to open up PDC content polls as well to allow you to vote in content that you've designed. Obviously, we don't necessarily have to take the winner. We could take everything you suggest to us. But we'll make you aware of what we're planning to do and obviously expose you to that. At the same time, we'll also make you aware of opportunities for you to get involved in delivering designs to us, and we'll take those as well. So every stage where we're thinking of doing something that we haven't told you about, we will tell you about it, and see where we go from there.
Zaire itself was already polled, and there was quite a lot of detail about the plans for it in the blog at the time.
Yeah, and we've also done some speeches at RuneFest where we've demonstrated some content ideas that we've had. Some of that we're working on right now, and well, as I said, if there's anything that we are thinking of working on that you don't currently know about, you would know about it the moment we've finalised the design for it, and should be even probably before that as well.
Okay, cool. Next question. This one's from Crowd, and he asks, so what's the deal with the soul cull? Explain what exactly happened with that.
The soul cull, for those of you that don't know, was an upgrade to the circle where you use Kraken Sinew, which you get from the Kraken tentacle, on the bow, and then it will upgrade it to have, I think what we initially proposed was you would drain the opponent's prayer for 50% of whatever you hit, which is a pretty strong special attack, and the community didn't take to it very well.
Mind you, the Ancient Mace is a thing.
The Ancient Mace is a thing, but Ancient Mace is much less accurate and melee range, so not necessarily comparable. Similar, but Ancient Mace is pretty dead in comparison to what the circle would be, at least. So we took back feedback on that, tried to come up with another idea, proposed that. Didn't necessarily go down well either. We've been looking at the feedback coming in on the soul cull, community suggestions for the past couple of days now, and it's very, very difficult to pin down a solid idea in a short period of time. So rather than put it on this week's poll, we decided to hold off, come up with a more refined design for the weapon, and propose it for a future poll instead. So it is still something that we're planning on doing, some form of upgrade to the circle to give it a use, but not this poll, in a future one.
We were looking to make Circle firstly more desirable, and secondly find a way of getting Kraken tentacles out of the game, because they kind of pile up a bit, and people have asked us to find a sort of item sink for them and more uses. We were hoping to kill two birds with one stone. Okay, so that wasn't a good design for it. We will very happily come up with a different one.
Okay, there's that. Good guy, mod reach meetings.
I got to mute my mic before that one.
Next question.
Oh,
This one's from X Cross, who asks, so can you clarify how Shared Slayer will work?
With the proposed version of Shared Slayer, it was originally called Shared Slayer. It doesn't necessarily describe it so well now. And it's more of a duo Slayer where you can partner up with someone. And then when one of you goes to get a task, the other person will also receive the same task. So rather than the original proposal, which allowed you to split a task between two people, people would be able to share tasks that way and essentially choose what they wanted, what they got as a task. The one that is currently proposed would not allow you to do that. You just be able to get the same task as someone else, so you could go to the same place at the same time and do it at the same time. Your tasks are still independent as if you had a normal side task. Them killing a monster wouldn't help you complete your task. And your block list, they wouldn't combine like a few people are a little concerned about. You wouldn't get 10 blocked monsters if two people had 5 different blocked monsters. If one person had a monster blocked and the other one received it as a task, then the person with the monster blocked would just not get the task.
Yeah, so Ronan and I are set up ourselves as Slayer partners for this purpose. We've both finished our current assignments, so I go to the Slayer Master. He assigns me Dagonoffs. Now, if Ronan's still got no task and hasn't blocked Dagonoffs and has done Horror from the Deep, he gets the exact same Dagonoff task as I do, so the two of us both have the exact same task. The full quota of task, not half each.
The same number as well, yeah?
The full quota of task, not half each.
Yeah, so you get, for example, 176. If you get it, he'll get 176 as well.
Yes, not half of it. If, however, he'd blocked Dagonoffs or he hadn't done the quest, then I'd still got my task completely unchanged. He gets nothing, and he can go get himself a task sometime later.
Cool. That answers that. Next question. This one's from Crazy Old M, and he asks, so this is an interesting idea. Can we get an in-game trading card mini-game? Like, give monsters rare drops of cards of themselves. Skillers can randomly find rare resource cards, and they have to build decks and battle against each other. Again, this is a mini-game.
I did come up with an idea, well, I say I came up with the idea. We did talk about an idea at some point in the past to do with a trading card game. Not so much necessarily battle cards, but more of a collectible cards section where you can get shiny versions of NPCs and you can go around and get free cards daily and add them to a little scrapbook and try to collect all these cards. Some of them will be rare, some of them won't be rare. You could trade them with other players and you know, and whatnot. But that idea never really went anywhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest having like Pokemon cards in RuneScape, but more of a collectible version rather than battle cards.
The issue with it is, I mean, what makes these card games a big success is sort of the artwork on it as well. So we'd have to have a custom piece of artwork for every single NPC, variant of NPC, model, location, city, brick, whatever, you know, blade of grass, and that's a huge amount of artwork for it. So if we were to do it properly, yeah, we could do, but I don't think you guys really want it anyway. So
I can't help noticing that the chat is mostly saying no or yes, Pokemon.
yes,
Yeah.
Like I said, the idea never really went anywhere. So,
In theory, it could be a lot of fun, but it could also just not be something that maybe fits old school.
yeah. Now I've played games that have done it before, and it's sort of a secondary part of the game. Some of them have done it really well. For example, you get packs that you open up. You open up the pack, and you can get stuff that actually helps you with your normal character in game as well, which I think is a really cool way of doing it. But it's not for old school.
it works very well in games like FIFA. I know you can get packs of players on there. Hearthstone and obviously Chronicle and other games like that do it, but I don't think it'll work in RuneScape. Or
Imagine opening a pack and getting out a variant of the fire cape that you could then equip. With empty exit as well.
Maybe you could spin a wheel and it would pick it randomly.
Yeah, and if we pulled this, it would definitely pass.
I think so.
Definitely pass. Okay. Next question. This one's from It's Valenti. And I think after this question, we're actually going to send Mod Rodon over to showcase the new Clan Wars game modes. So look forward to that right after this question. So he asks, can the look of the Scorpio Pet please be updated to look a little bit more like the downscaled version of the boss? As right now, people are saying it looks a little gray, not too detailed. Mind you, it's very tiny. But they prefer it had a bit more color to it.
Yeah, we had this conversation with Mod Ghost a couple of days ago. We're going to tweak the colour of the legs to start with, because that was the first bit of feedback that came in, and I can take it under consideration to look at the rest of it.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to make some changes at least, and
Awesome.
we'll just do those.
I guess the thing about scaling down the original Scorpio boss is she stands out quite nicely in her cave anyway, because she's blinking massive and sat in the middle of it. We didn't really think about how it would look if there were a small one standing on other terrain.
Cool. Sounds good. So I guess we'll send Mod Ronan over. He'll get set up to show you guys some cool Clan Wars stuff. In the meantime, we'll keep asking questions.
Sweet.
Just so happens this one's from Bullcut, who asks, can we get in, that's going to be loud, can we get an in-game mailbox system that allows us to send messages or maybe even items to players that are offline and have them receive them when they get online?
The biggest issue with that is not doing it, it's moderating it. If we have...
more dramatic.
If there is a permanent message system, which effectively this would be, which can be unmoderated because it'll be private from person to person, then it opens the door for all sorts of bad things that happen. And if bad things do happen from it, then you know, we have to deal with it properly. So it's a whole other sort of area of moderation we have to do, which is the biggest issue with it. I'm assuming it can be done.
Is it possible?
But it doesn't sound that different to, say, email.
Yeah.
So I imagine that the internet can handle it.
So,
but
yeah, I mean, that's from a company perspective, that's the issue with it, and that's one of the prime reasons that we have got around to it at all.
Right.
Ever, really.
From community feedback, it seemed that with this idea and people replying to it saying that being able to send a message to someone when they're offline and they get it when they get online, so it's a bit more, you know, feasible. But as far as items go, that, I mean, you're almost getting into like item lending and just, you know.
It would need to be a global change as well across both games and anything else that uses the chat system.
Yeah.
Now, if it was item lending they wanted, then yeah, we could pull it, although we know why we haven't.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to switch over to Mod Ronan if he's ready.
Yeah,
Cool.
Right. So we're here in Clan Wars. If you guys want to come along, this is World 349. So come along, join. You can join either Mod Ronan Friends Chat or you can join Goody Friends Chat, GUDI. I'm going to be challenging that account. So let's get into it now. So up here in the top left, Mod Mac K's whispering, making me nervous.
He said something about luring.
Oh dear. Okay, so yeah, we got Old School down here. We also have most kills. Most kills is the time deathmatch, so you can see which clan out of you and the opposing team can get the most kills in a set period of time. And then you've also got Team Old School, which is a little more complex, not really. Let's pick out 100 points. I'm not sure how long this will take. What else should we choose? Everything allowed. Let's see, anything else?
Use the classic map, show off the changes.
Classic map, good shout. We have actually made a few small changes to the classic map as well to make it a little more like the original based on some feedback from clans, which is lovely. You know what, I'm going to do this to save problems in the future. Okay, let's get in there. So, we've got a ton of people in here on both accounts. You should now be able to join the war if you're in game. So essentially, Old School is based, well, it's not, I'm not going to say it's based on, but it's very, very similar to Oddball from Halo. Lots of you will be familiar. There is a skull that spawns in the middle of the map, and the team that picks it up gains points. The goal of the other team is to kill the person that has the skull, pick it up themselves, and get points for their own team. It's very simple. There's so many people on the other team. Where are my guys? These people. Yeah, I know. Oh dear. But yeah, so we've got to wait. We've got to wait a minute. So the wall will drop and the skull will appear. But yeah, in the meantime, we can have a quick look at the classic map. So what we've done is we've moved these barriers much closer. I believe they're closer together. They're offset more correctly. It's very minor changes that we've made to the classic map, but ones that really do make a difference for the clans that used to love how classic was back in the day.
You can shoot over them.
You can shoot over the barriers now as well. What Ash is shouting at me, which is a fairly big change for Clan Wars in here. We're just going to wait for this barrier to drop. Kappa. Why spam Kappa? The chat's going to go mad now. Okay, let's see. I should probably move my other account so it doesn't log out. Come on, 20 seconds. I want to get the skull. I'm not sure where it spawns exactly. I know it's along this line. It's about as much as I do know. Oh, Kappa's in the chat. There we go. Come on. Where is it? JMod PID. Oh, it's it. What it? Take skull. Someone got it.
You have it.
Someone's got it.
You have it.
I have it. I have it. I couldn't see. There we go. I've got it. Set bar JMod attackable. 2? It's 2, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Oh god, that's not good. Oh dear. Well, I died with the skull. I got a few points for my team. Let's use the viewing orb. Let's see. Can we actually see anything? And they're gone. Where are they? Anywhere? Oh, come on. Go near a viewing orb, whoever has it. There they are. Shirk. So Shirks is currently gaining points for the blue team here. Just by holding the skull, it's as simple as that. I think this is going to 300 points, or was it 100 points? Yeah, so shouldn't take too long. Really halfway there almost. Let's see. Can I cheat out of the little jail cell thing, or that?
You can try.
I can try. Let's see.
It'll actually let you, and you'll probably be able to fight.
I'm trying. Oh right, no. There we go. Beautiful. Who's got it? Oh, is that really necessary? I'm trying to be a cameraman here. Except there's 2. You can't see me anymore. There we go.
I was going to say that.
They're not even trying. Has my entire team died? I think my entire team is practically dead. That's remarkable. There's so many more people in here than there are in the other friends chat. Well, we got wrecked. But yeah, it's as simple as that, really. Pick up the skull and defend the person that's got it. And if you're on the other team, try and kill them. Get it yourself. And these people are about to win. There we go. Beautiful. All good? Anything else you want to show off?
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Monrun, for showing that off. You guys can go give that a shot now. It's actually a lot of fun. And let's move on to the next question. as Mod Ronan makes his way back over to the couch in a minute here.
Maybe
All right.
that's PC. Yes.
This one's from iDanger, and he asks, will we be seeing a field of view slider with the release of Resizable? Also, will the HUD elements be movable? One for Ian, who isn't with us right now, unfortunately.
We were not planning to do drag and drop for all the HUD elements, moving the mini-map to the middle of the screen or moving the chat box somewhere else. While we might be able to make that happen, it's a fairly big change from the Resizable that everybody remembers from like 2008 and thereabouts. And I think we'd make it a separate poll before we kind of try to implement the whole of RS3, because that is about the core of RS3, the drag and drop interfaces. I think we'd make that a separate poll for another day if people actually wanted it. For the moment, we'll start with the basic Resizable mode that people actually remember from the day.
Right. So what you're saying is we don't even have it yet. Stop trying to change it.
Well, yes.
Fair enough. But
What was the other
potentially,
part?
realistically, maybe in the distant future. But you know.
Heck, they did it. We could do it.
Yeah.
What was the other part of the question, though?
View
Seeing
slider.
a field of view slider.
Oh, that's more interesting.
Okay.
The thing about the field of view is if you change it, you either stop being able to see much at all, or you end up seeing such a distorted view that it looks really stupid. So I'm not sure we'd want to go there necessarily. But we could. For the moment, we'll just try and get a version of Resizable where the field of view looks plausible and doesn't look distorted, because it gets very fisheye if you get that wrong.
Okay. Fair enough. Again, potentially pulling changes like these for Resizable in the distant future, but for now, yeah.
I think
say it's-
scroll wheel to zoom would pass,
Okay.
and I wouldn't mind seeing that happen.
All right, we'll see what the chat thinks of that one, actually. Let's move on to the next question. This one's from Wallace, and he says, being colorblind, it's almost impossible for me to tell the difference between friends' dots on minimap and the enemies. That sounds like a pain. He says, I also cannot distinguish between the color of the started and completed quests. Is there any chance we can do anything for colorblind people?
On green, isn't it?
We can change the colour of the friend's dot. It's just a sprite like any other. It's currently a sprite that looks like a small green dot, but it could look like anything else.
Would we have to change it for everybody, or would we maybe offer a toggleable?
Under the current engine, it would change for everybody. Mind you, if it's in the interest of colourblind people, they might be willing to accept it, or not.
Okay.
I think the right solution to me sounds like a toggleable thing, which means we'd have to do engine stuff for it.
That sounds likely, yes.
But I think that seems like the right answer, rather than changing it for everybody. Maybe even giving a few options so that people who have different sorts of colour blindness can choose the one that best suits them, maybe. Seems like the right way of doing it.
Right. Okay. Potentially. Next question. This one's from Funker, and he asks, can you give cats the ability to chase away spiders? We know why this question's being asked.
Oh, we could. We so could.
A little sinister there.
I think it answers that question.
In fact, I think cats should be able to do it anyway. It sounds like a bug. So we should probably fix that.
See what the chat thinks of this one. Okay.
And goblins. Cats should be able to chase away goblins. Rats. Other players in a safe clan wars.
I was just thinking that. I was just going, I think there's some areas where there's players that might be scared of cats.
Okay. So the chat obviously is agreeing with everything just said. We'll take that and move on. This one's from Chekio, and he asks, any update on the possibility of adding broad darts alongside arrows and bolts? We talked about this a few weeks back, I believe. Any news on that?
I'd like to bundle it with the Slayer things we've got planned for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End of summer, yeah.
Okay, there's that. Cool. This one's from Gilly, and he asks, can we have it so that when we level up, if we click on the flashing skill icon, it will tell us what we've now unlocked skill-wise as well as quest requirement-wise?
I do like that update. The difficulty in doing it is that we have to take all the level up information from the game and turn it into a form of data that the level up system can use for this purpose. At the moment it isn't suited for it, but if we had enough time to rework it like that, then we could make that update for you. Okay. And I do like that update. I just also like all the other things we can do with the dev time, like work on Resizable.
Right, so potentially one for the future. Here comes the dater. All right. This one's from X2.
What about data?
Yeah.
Oh, I like talking about data.
I mean, your data.
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 Just the way.
All right.
Go watch Star Trek again.
This one's from Xtoon, who asks.
It's been remastered in HD now, TNG.
This is one from John C, I think, asking, can the Artie Cloak 3 give us 2 or 3 daily teleports to the Artie farm instead of just 1?
Yep, I'm happy to poll that. It needs polling, but yeah.
Cool.
I'd go with 3.
I just saw the meta moat.
Too right. There's one time to use it, and that's it.
Cool. We have an idea coming in from Potupson, who asks, would it be possible to get an instant wilderness? So say, for example, there was a coffer. That was quick. Say, for example, there was a coffer. Hear it out. To which you put 50k in. This 50k would go to the winner of the fight. This would decrease the looters, decrease the ping, and increase incentive. Bring more people to the looters.
So they want somewhere private to fight each other, where they can effectively stake. And
I don't think it's quite a 1v1 type scenario.
Maybe
it's more for everybody to join.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the sort of desire behind it, but the wilderness is there to get everybody in one place killing each other.
There's that, and we can't instance
if we
the whole
start,
wilderness.
I mean, even if we were able to instance the whole wilderness, we're taking all the PKs and just plopping in their own little area, which will make PKing rubbish.
Right. We've got a Colosseum in the foreseeable.
Yes.
Wicked top.
Colosseum might be a bit of a compromise there, but as far as instancing the wilderness, it's not even possible.
Yeah,
so.
I think the thing he really is after is some sort of group staking thing, which I think is what the Colosseum's going to be looking at, isn't it? So yeah,
it's more of an extension to the existing dual tournaments.
It's what dual tournament should have been.
Yes.
Yes, and if dual tournaments hadn't had to exist in a game with a trade restriction, which we are not getting, maybe it could have been a lot more than it was.
Okay, moving on. This one's from Patamon, and he asks, do you think Old School will ever see the Dragon High ropes? Just talking about...
the Dagon High.
Oh, Dagon High.
Oh,
yeah.
Dagon High.
The models exist.
They do.
Because one of Surok's various forms will have them, so we could easily offer them, but they just had the same stats as Mystic, didn't they?
Right.
Certainly the Dagon High monks in that shortcut to the Chaos Altar, they'd have them. Although I think they're all male, so we'll have to get female ones made.
I'm sure Mod Ghost can come up with something fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It was likely me that spelled dragon. I'm not going to blame the guy that asked the question. But it is possible then?
Yeah.
Okay, there's that. Moving on. This one's from Ben, and he asks, can Iron Man purchase Scrolls of Redirection from the Nightmare Zone store? This was heavily requested.
It was also polled and it failed. It wasn't even that close.
The support seems to be pushing more and more each week. Mind you, it might just be the same bunch of people. But,
well, I've no objection to it repolling, but we did put it to the community fairly. If they've changed their views for whatever reason, then sure.
Okay, maybe even one for the repoll poll.
Could be people see Iron Man differently to how they did before the original launch.
Right.
Or we could run a straw poll to see where they're at.
Yeah, that would be quite useful actually.
Seeing a lot of yeses in the chat. Might have a few Iron Men watching.
James ambles over.
Right, so we're going to ask you guys, should we give Iron Men the ability to purchase Scrolls of Redirection from the Nightmare Zone shop, whatever it is?
I think when giving James a question, I think what we should do is give a really complicated, difficult to spell word in there and see how he does.
Spelled Lodestones wrong. That one. Remember, we did Lodestones a couple weeks back. I got the slack for that.
Chris got the slack for that. Like, you idiot, how'd you misspell that?
Yeah. Alright. While we wait for you guys to vote on that, let's ask the next question. This one's from M. Marcelo, and he asks, can we get a button to switch between the bank and the Grand Exchange without having to close and reopen each other?
That's lazy.
It is. I see why they'd want it.
That's lazy.
Whether we can and whether we can do it safely, I guess, is the thing. Ash.
Depends whether we mind there being a big lag when you press that button. Because at the moment, if you were to switch from one to the other, it would want to shut one and load the other. And that's easy for us to do, but it means that if you press it, you've got to wait while it changes which one it's got loaded. If on the other hand we wanted to try and make the transition almost instantaneous, which is nicer for the user, it's a lot harder and it limits what we can do with the bank in future because it's got to juggle the GE around as well. With checks on everything on the GE interface to make sure you're not using those when you're not in that kind of bank.
Sounds a bit more complicated than a simple question then.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, moving on. This one's from Hash, who asks, so how will resizable mode affect the game's frames per second?
Well, more to render, lower frames per second.
So it will indeed affect.
On JMods' laptop, which was a pretty darn good laptop, the frame rate went down from 50 to 35, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, anything above 30 FPS, you're not really going to tell the difference. Generally speaking, you're not going to tell the difference between anything above 30 FPS. When you start dropping below 30 FPS, you can notice a few frames choppy, chopping here and there, a bit of jumpy start. On JMods' laptop, when he was testing originally, this is before any optimization, we went from 50 to 35, and that was a very high-end laptop. So your standard consumer PC, things that most people are going to be using to play RuneScape, is going to be heavily affected right now. After some optimization, which is definitely going to happen, we're going to look to have a better resource management with that. So hopefully the frames per second won't be affected as much. But anything above 30 is generally completely acceptable. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
We want this to work for you, and we want this to work for as many of you as possible. So if there's something we can do to get the frames per second to a decent level, we're going to do it. I say we, I mean Ian.
One of the things that I was working on a couple of weeks ago is I put a thread up to ask you why you play Old School, and we had a fair few people coming in saying it's the only game I can actually play on my PC. So there may well be some of you that won't be able to have it as big as you want it to have, because the PCs you're on, everyone's got a different PC. So you just got to be aware that it might not be good for everybody, but equally you can just stay and play it as it is now and have no difference. So.
Okay. Well, we have the results back from that poll asking if you'd like to see Iron Man get the ability to purchase Scrolls of Redirection from Nightmare Zone, and that's only got about 70%, so wouldn't pass an official poll.
Well, it's higher than what it got when we put it in an official poll.
Okay. So the support has definitely increased. I think maybe just more Iron Man, but quite a few no's still. Okay. Next question. This one's from the Gimo, who asks, can we have the Desert Carpet Ride instant travel for us for 10 times the price? I guess he doesn't like carpet rides.
Yes.
Definitely.
Does that at all mess with do we care? It's just like all of a sudden, oh, I can now teleport you there.
It would decrease the amount of bug reports we get about the carpet ride going wrong.
I thought we fixed that. What we could do is, like ships, when you sail on a ship and it shows you for just a few seconds the boat shift across the map.
Right.
Make a very, very quick one of those.
Okay.
And also that would cut down a lot of the dialogue, because then you could click on the map to say where you want to go to rather than having to talk through the NPC's dialogue.
Better, isn't it?
I think carpet rides are fun the first few times you do them, and you're like, all right.
Then it's just a tedious journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because it's actually going at run speed. The only difference is your run energy shouldn't run out while it's doing it.
Yeah. A few lazy ideas coming in this week. That's all
just,
right.
Just strap knots to the side of it. And just go double the speed. Same journey.
I'm for that.
You would be.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. This one's from Marfel, who asks, do you have any plans on revising / buffing the Kingdom loots, Kingdom of Miscellanea, as it's currently outmatched in terms of resource collecting? When you compare it to some of the bosses, you can get quite a few resources from now.
Well, it's not one or the other, really, is it? Though you don't do.
That's true.
You don't do resource collecting there or bossing. You do both. So.
In Miscellaneous, 90 seconds every other day.
Doesn't really need a buffing then?
Well, it's also not exactly high-end content. I mean, there's a few quests on it, but it's considerably easier to use the Kingdom than it is to use Zulrah.
Fair enough. You also don't need to risk anything or require any, well, you do require some stats, but not like combat stats. So.
And as it was pointed out, you can also use it in addition to all the other features in the game.
This is true. All right, moving on. This one's from Zonts, who asks, can you add a timer to the pump at the blast furnace so peers cannot grief the entire world by simply farming strength XP? Do we need a further explanation?
Could have it give defense XP.
Yeah.
One XP every pump.
That would be really good. I think it's not much strength XP. I believe it only amounts to like 5 or 10k XP per hour or so, but it's for...
But it's the fact they can get it without any hit points experience.
That's going to be it.
Not doing that all the way to 99, are they?
No, I'd imagine they switch to the Warriors Guild at some point.
Be great for Abimal peers. But
I think they want defense XP on it.
essentially, they're not really ruining the blast furnace for everyone else, but they're not being a team player.
No, they're not contributing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it less efficient for everybody else who's trying to do it properly.
Right.
If we took the XP off of it, that would get rid of the incentive.
Okay.
It's the other way around, isn't it?
I kind of like the defense XP one, but all right. Next question. This one's from Master Fiend, who asks, Okay, this is again pitching one of those ideas. So he says, have you ever wanted to kill the guy next to you for crashing you at the Rock Crabs or Motherlode Mine? Well, now you can with PvP safe worlds. The level limit to attack anyone would be removed, and you'd never need to, or sorry, you would need to defend your resources / training spots. Matt, do you want to take us through an idea you had kind of similar to this?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to kill Ronan all the time, especially. I'm joking, of course. Yeah.
It does give good XP.
It does give good XP, though. Yeah. I mean, I've mentioned this a few times, and what we found end of last year when we put out Iron Man. It was really popular, and we want to do more game modes. And one of the things I would like to do would be a hardcore PvP game mode. Where effectively you'll have a hardcore PvP world. Accounts will only be able to log into this world and get XP in this world. Differently to every other world, it will be PvP everywhere. So PvP in the banks, PvP in the cities, no safe zones whatsoever. However, in the cities you'll have lots of NPCs which are really high level. All the guards will be really high level, and if they see somebody with a skull, they will effectively just go and kill them. And when I say kill them, they will tele-block them, they will freeze them in place, and they will just go and gank them. So you will assume if you go into this area with a skull, you will get killed. So that sort of creates this whole dynamic of, should I kill this person or not? Because if I do, I can't go into a city until my skull has gone.
With that, I kind of think of Grand Theft Auto. It's like, do I really want to commit this crime and then get chased by cops and lose everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's quite a nice mechanic in itself. But you know, this is not just any sort of PvP world. This is a hardcore PvP world. And if you die, you should suffer properly. If you die, so if you die, you'll die. You'll respawn in Lumbridge. Your levels will all get set back to level 1, and you'll leave on the floor a key, and that key gives access to the bank to your killer. So if you get killed, your killer will take your bank, take all your items, and you'll get set back to level 3, and you'll have to start all over again and work your way up to make it even more horrifically bad if you die. The whole idea behind it is to get people who get levels really, really quickly, get themselves up nice and high level, get a nice big bank going, and then lose the whole lot.
Or just not die.
Or just not die. You know, it's one of these things: is can you level up your account without ever leaving a city? It'll be much better if you do leave a city to do it, but then you've got the whole risk of PvP.
Would there be Iron Man as well, so they couldn't trade?
Yeah, we could take Iron Man in it. I don't see why not. But
I'm just thinking, like, stream-wise, this would be the most fun thing to watch.
It'd be really intense.
Absolutely horrific. I mean, imagine, you know, you're out there mining somewhere outside of the city. You're mining just south of Varrock. You got everything on you, and obviously your bank you lose your bank if you die. And the bloke walks past, and you sit there and you just look at each other and you're like, all right.
Is it worth sculling here?
It's the Hunger
I'll
Games.
go back this way. You know, there's awful awkwardness as you see other people. Are they going to attack me? Do they want to fight me? Do they want to steal my bank or not? Should I maybe attack them if they're lower level than me? You know, we'll get rid of all the level restrictions outside of cities as well. So
I'm seeing someone in the chat saying DayZscape, and I feel like it does take that kind of constant fear that you get from games like Rust and DayZ and plops it into RuneScape, which I think is really nice.
I do have a mod of DayZ in my test stream.
In general,
that doesn't surprise me at all.
in general, the feedback just from pitching the idea, this is obviously just a rough idea, it's not all written down or anything, is tremendous. People definitely are for this, it seems, so hopefully we can get something like that in game sometime.
But I mean, I'd quite like to do, you know, sort of a new game zone a game mode once a year.
Yeah.
Just sort of keep things fresh and give people sort of something different to think about, or play in a different way if they want to play in a different way. You know, if you guys still want that to happen, of course. But yeah, when we were talking about Iron Man, especially how RuneScape did Iron Man, when they did the hardcore Iron Man where you die, you lose everything, and you know that's it, end of the game. I thought about doing that in Old School, then I thought no, because what you want to do is you want to see people who die who have really high levels and lots of stuff. So you want to not restrict people getting these high levels. So you know you don't want to do it as an Iron Man. You want to do it as a normal account. But when they die, that's when you want to see. You want to see somebody with, you know, how many hundreds of millions XP and billions in their bank die, and a big message go across the screen to everybody on the server saying this person's just died. They've lost this amount of XP. They've lost this amount, and this person's just killed them. Who is now in this location? Go kill him. And mayhem ensues.
I'm happy to see that the chat responded really positively to that idea, because it sounds great.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'd love to make something like that as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be so tense, wouldn't it?
Maybe you'll be able to.
You'd play it for a couple of hours, and you'd have to go and have a massage afterwards to calm
I would
down.
just be so scared all the time. See, wait, Todd would be like, log out, right? Not logging in until tomorrow. The guy's gonna be waiting for me.
I would genuinely love to make something like that.
Yeah.
I would like.
It's
I
a
would
sort of-
play something like
It's
that.
the sort of weird mods that I really enjoy messing around with. Like I said, I got a version of Daisy in my test stream. It's the sort of weird things like that you do in downtime that you often find are the best pieces of content you've ever made. It's just, instead of sticking to a design brief for a serious piece of content, in the 10 minutes where you've played around with something, you've made the best and most fun piece of content going.
Yeah.
Things like that I think would go down very well.
I mean, it should be quite a light piece dev-wise as well to make. I don't think it's going to be too difficult.
It depends on how intense you wanted the tracking to be, and well, I don't know, it would vary depending on how extreme we'd like it. But
The most extreme, the better.
Cool.
But I've seen a lot of people saying straw poll it to see what it would get. I'm actually quite interested to see if we did straw poll it, what the percentage would be.
I suppose a bit of straw poll it then.
Would you like
that.
Would you like that? That's all we need.
I like how they're saying poll it rather than do it.
Can we?
Yeah.
whatever we just talked, the last 5 minutes, what we just talked about? Do you want that?
Hang on. Should we talk about a name for it?
Oh, I don't know. We've got to have a proper think about a name.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you came up with the name, didn't you? Which
I was
we
going
thought
to say
was great.
Dead Man. Sounds
Yeah, because we had Iron Man, and Chris asked, well, what sort of man would you be if you do this? And it's Dead Man, isn't it? So it's Dead Man mode.
Dead Man mode. Would you like to see
Okay.
Dead Man mode? And we'll have a highlight of this definitely up on the YouTube channel to get some feedback, so be sure to comment on that after the stream's over. Let us
Absolutely.
know what you think.
I'm tempted tomorrow to actually start making it for the lols.
Yeah, I kind of want to write
To
a
be fair,
dialogue.
if tomorrow is our day where we just go and concept random ideas for the sake of it, because we like to play around with ideas and separate from actually making content. So tomorrow I might actually start making that for the lols and see where we end up.
Well, I've got 2,000 kilometres in a car for the next 5 days, so I'm going to take a pad and a pen.
Yeah, that sounds like a good
I'll
plan.
see what I get tomorrow. I'll post screenshots. I'll make it tomorrow. I'll make as much of it as I can tomorrow.
We've pretty much finished the stream the last 10-15 minutes on this topic. And
Worth it.
Was there a
everyone's
player
happy
question
with
at the
it.
beginning of it?
Sorry?
Was there a player question involved in it?
There was actually somebody asking a very similar idea to what Matt had. So yeah,
You
that
stole
was
my idea because I spoke about it a few weeks ago. That's what it
That was Master Fiend who asked that. So
Yeah, it stole my idea.
It's the first time hearing of it. I like it.
I shall tweet progress tomorrow of it. I'm going to start working on it tomorrow because that sounds like something that I would generally enjoy doing.
cool.
Yeah,
We'll see
you know
the
that
results.
schedule we spent like a month ago? Can we just scrap it?
I've never seen
And
a
do
straw
that.
poll be so unanimous.
I like that question. I really like that question.
Would you like the last 5 minutes to become reality? Dead moment. I've never seen a vote so unanimous. I will
Over
genuinely
2,000
start making
votes.
that tomorrow, and I'll show you screenshots of it tomorrow.
Over
I'm gonna-
2,000 votes, 1,900 of which are yes.
I'll shamelessly plug my Twitter along it at the same time. Jagex Rachel Twitter. I will post screenshots tomorrow. I'm gonna make that for the lols. If you just give us a brief, I'll watch this VOD back.
Yeah, you got a brief. There you go. It's that. Let's make PvP anywhere with super high level guards.
Yeah, we can do this.
Cool.
Job done.
I
Remove every NPC from the map.
feel like any other question is just going to kind of fall short compared to that, and we're pretty much out of time. Should we try to fit in a couple more?
Might as well.
We got
Yeah.
2 minutes.
All
Why
right.
not?
Do you want to talk about? I was just a couple of things about commission stakers actually,
Okay.
which we've been working. Weath and myself have been working quite hard on. Oh shit! I've got the camera pointing at me now.
We're watching you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's pressure. Weath and I have been working quite hard on commission stakers over the last few weeks. There's a lot of really good ones out there doing 0% commission staking, and they are doing it properly. They're getting a bad name because all the ones that are not doing it well are all view botting at the same time, so they shoot to the top and they do that. We are banning them quite frequently. Their friends who they cheat with, the people they trade with, and all the bad people involved in it. And I suppose a word out to them is if you want to cheat at commission staking, don't view bot it because we pick you up in minutes, and we'll find all your accounts and take care of it that way. If you guys want to get involved with commission staking and sort of use them as a service, for want of a better phrase, feel free, but obviously just be careful. Yeah, that's what I want to say about them.
If I also may plug in, just because whenever I log into the Grand Exchange, I often see people saying doubling money.
Yeah.
Don't give them your money. I feel bad because it's like, okay, that guy's out, I'm scamming, but it's like, take care of him. But then it's just like, wait, you trusted him with your money? What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Also, when someone
Don't
says,
do that.
please bring your best items, I want to show you something,
Yeah.
they're
They
not
say-
going to show you anything you want to see. I mean, that should be common sense, but I feel the need to say it because we still get reports of, oh my god, he told me I was going to double my bag.
And if somebody says to you, I'm going to go and show you the new Clan Wars modes,
I knew it was coming. God's sake.
Please bring your third age.
All right, guys.
Especially if they've got Ziliana nearby. Kriara, yeah, sorry.
Cool. So, any final words?
Cabbage.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're about done. So, go ahead and give the stream a follow if you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next Thursday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.